I have ranked many things in Kenshi in the past, from weapons to cities and factions, and a couple of days ago I have ranked also all of the skills that your characters can learn in Kenshi, but today I'm ranking all of the starts. Basically, whenever you start a game, you're gonna have the options to choose one of the 13 starts that's gonna basically tell you how you're gonna start the game, how you're gonna begin your adventures in Kenshi. And we're gonna be ranking these based on how hard they can be, how cool they are, how useful some of the things are that you have, where you start, all that kind of stuff. So let's just jump in and start with the first one, the Wanderer. Wanderer is, to me, an OG start. This is what most people who first play Kenshi, they jump into this. This is made for basically when you first go in there, you start at the hub, all the stuff around you is pretty low level, and while it's gonna hurt you, it's not gonna hurt you to the point that you're gonna just die. This is a great start for any person that is still learning the ways of Kenshi and still trying to know how it goes. You start with all the skills at level 1. You also have just like a stick and some rags. You're basically a nobody in a world where nobody cares about you. You do have 1,000 cats, so if you need a snack, if you need a basic first aid kit, you can buy those and you can start with that. It's pretty much the best new player start, and I really like it. It's really cool. It's basically what Kenshi is all about. We're gonna put it out here in the S tier. Next we have the Wandering Trader. This is an easy start, but it's also a bit of an RP start. Basically, you start as a dude that is friendly with Traders Guild in the United Cities, and you put all of your money into buying some stuff that you're now gonna try and sell somewhere else. You start with your own pack bowl. Like, the character you have doesn't really have any skills, but the pack bowl is a teen, so already has a bit of a skill, so he can actually protect you when it comes to combat. He's not really gonna do well, but he can protect you as long as, if you need to, just run away and then come back and save that bull. You can do that. So you basically have no money, you have no real skills, but you do have a bunch of luxury goods and such that you can sell. This is a really cool, as I said, RP start. We can just travel from one place to another in the United Cities and try to trade, try to profit from the things you find along the way and then sell. So if you're going for a merchant type of a deal, which isn't really a very viable long-term strategy in Kenshi, but it's really cool for RP purposes, so I like it. And also you start in Great Desert, which is probably the best place to start once you know the game a bit, because there's so many opportunities to get ahead of the curve. It's great. So we're gonna put this into A tier. Next we have the Holy Sword. Now this is once again more of an RP start, but this one is a bit harder for players who are not really familiar with the world of Kenshi, because while they do start with this amazing sword, amazing Nodachi, that it's edge type, which is basically just one level below the highest ones, that sword in itself is not really gonna help you that much, because your character doesn't really have any good skills, doesn't have anything to his name but some shoddy ninja rags so you can stealth around. Plus, the biggest thing here is that he is wanted by the Holy Nation and by the United Cities. So basically the 2 major factions out of the 3 major factions hate you. So basically half of the map would be after your character. So if you're not really familiar with how the world works and how to get ahead of that and survive that, then this character is gonna have some serious issues, and you might lose that sword very early on while trying to fight some starving bandits to get your toughness up. So not the greatest start, but if you know a bit about the game, then it can be pretty cool. We're gonna put it out here in the B tier. Next we have the Cannibal Hunters. Now this one is for those that like to suffer a bit, or for those that really know how to abuse the game to escape out of any like really tough situations. It is certainly not for anybody that is newer to the game. Basically you're gonna start with 2 characters. They actually have some skills among them. They have like 5s and 20s and such in their stats. Decent starting skills, but not good enough for the problems they have, because they will start in the Cannibal Plains, and the name tells you everything you need to know about that place, and you start in a cannibal village encircled by a bunch of cannibals. So basically you start in combat. Now, if you don't know the game well, you don't know how to abuse the R to escape a bunch of enemies, then, well, you can run for a while, but there's a good chance you're gonna get hunted down, taken to a cage, and eaten. And the game is gonna be done before you can actually do much. So definitely for new players, I cannot recommend this start. For anybody that's played Kenshi for a long while, they have definitely tried this, they have played through it, and they have survived. But you do need to first play through some of the other starts to get the knowledge how to survive this one. So I'm gonna have to put this one down here in the F tier. Next we have the Hive Exile. Now, probably everybody, even if you haven't played this game, but you've seen others play it, you have heard about the famous Beep. Beep is a hiver, and this start is basically your own budget Beep type of start, because you start as a lone Hive Exile in one of the Hive villages. Basically, they threw you out, you're out into the wide world, and you have no stats, no skills, no money, no nothing. Just level 1 nobody that, you know, it's one alone hive against the whole world. Kind of like a Beep thing. So this is a really cool budget Beep thing start if you really want to go for that. And it's really decent because hivers, to me, they're something special. They're my favorite race in the whole world of Kenshi, and I really like playing as them. And I think the Hive Exile is a really cool start. Especially because you start next to hivers, which means that there's a very good chance there's some nests of big things. If you don't really know the game, the big things will hunt you down and eat you. So yeah, I think it's a really cool start. We're gonna put it out here in the A tier next to the Wandering Trader. Next we have Son of a Captain. Son of a Captain is nothing too special. It's kind of like the Wanderer start. You start at the hub, but you also start with a grade katana, which is actually pretty decent. It's like a mid-grade katana, and you can actually do some decent damage against any of the enemies that are gonna try to steal your stuff. And while they're probably gonna have numbers on you and they're still gonna steal your stuff, you know, you can use that katana, you can put it to some good use. Now, while you do start as level 1 nobody, you know, you have no money and all that, which is pretty good for a start in my opinion. That's a good way to start the game, so you start from nothing. The problem is here you are already hated by the Holy Nation. Now the Holy Nation hates hivers, it hates women, it hates skeletons, so there's a good chance that no matter what you play, when you encounter them, you're gonna have problems with them, right? But this one, even if you're a human being, they will still hate you. So you're kind of closing off a potential path in the world, and if you're new to Kenshi, I don't think that's a good thing to do. You don't really want to close yourself to opportunities out there in the world. So I don't think Son of a Captain is that good. It's nothing special. I think in RP sense, it's also nothing special. So I'm gonna put it down here in the C tier. Next, we have the slaves. So here you start as 2 slaves, 2 characters in Rebirth. Rebirth is the infamous Holy Nation slave camp that is hard to escape from if you don't know what you're doing. Really cool start though. You can RP as a slave, the escape as you try to break other people out and help them escape or have them as distraction. All that struggle, you will learn a ton playing as these 2 characters, and you will also suffer, but it's when you finally make it out as a newer player, it's gonna be amazing. You're gonna feel like you're on the top of the world even though you're just starting. So just for that, I can really recommend this one. You're gonna start with no skills, no money, you're gonna be shackled, you're gonna be forced to work, they're gonna beat you up, you're gonna be malnourished, so pretty tough start, but still I think it's one of the coolest starts out here, so I do have to put the slaves up here in the A tier as well. Next we have Rock Bottom. I think this is the proper Kenshi start, the way Kenshi is supposed to be played. After you've done like your first start and you learn some things about the game, about the world, maybe you died or something like that, but you know something now, this is the way to go. Basically, you start in the middle of the Great Desert, nobody around, just you're malnourished, you have no skills, no inventory, no nothing basically, and you're missing a left arm as well. So there's that. So basically you have to walk to the nearest town and try to survive. I know people who play the modded start with the Torsolo, where you basically start without any limbs and you have to crawl your way out there. They, you know, that thing evolved from Rock Bottom. It's a challenging run, but I think it's the way that Kenshi really is supposed to be played, because this is a game where everything hurts. And I think Rock Bottom really kind of describes that and catches that whole Kenshi vibe. And I've done many starts as Rock Bottom in my previous series. You can see them on YouTube. There's been some on Twitch as well. So I think Rock Bottom is great. It should be S tier. Next, we have the Empire Citizen. You're basically a citizen of the United Cities and you spawn in one of their cities. You live there, you have some money, but you realize that actually living in the Empire and being poor is a crime. And you can get enslaved and all kinds of bad things can happen to you. So you realize that this place that you're a citizen of is not the greatest. So it's kind of an okay start if you're trying to RP as this Empire Citizen and, you know, run around the desert and do things for the Empire and try to ally with them and be friends with them, all that kinds of stuff. That would work, but otherwise I don't think the start is anything special. It can't really compare to any of the other ones to be as good or anything like that. So I think we're gonna put the Empire Citizen. I think it's kind of same-ish as Son of a Captain, but with Son of a Captain you start at the hub. This one you actually start in the Grey Desert. They're both C tier, I think. And next we have the Holy Nation Citizen, which is pretty much the same as the Empire Citizen, but here you're the citizen of the Holy Nation and they like you a bit more. You have some cats and you have to start as a human, preferably a male human. They are really not too keen on ladies either. So, you know, you have to be a dude here to really have the freedom of the Holy Nation as well. So once again, just like the Empire, you realize this is not really the greatest place. The Holy Nation, not really. If you're trying to RP as the Holy Nation dude, as I've done in one of my older series where I basically tried to make the Holy Nation great again, then that would be a good start. But otherwise, really kind of same-ish as the Empire Citizen or Son of a Captain or something like that. So we're gonna put this one into C tier as well. Next on the list, we have a guy with a dog. This is a cool start because you start with a puppy bone dog. But you as a character have no skills. Everything is level 1. You have some rags, you have a stick to fight stuff with, and both you and your dog are malnourished. So you need to find food. But the problem is the dog is going to be pretty slow if you're trying to run somewhere. The dog is going to be very hungry. You're going to be hungry. And chances are you're eventually going to go and eat your own dog. We'll try to not do that because the point of starting with a dog is that you try to keep them safe. Try to keep them alive so when they're adults, when they're elder dog, they're going to protect you. But getting there, it's going to take a long while. And these tiny bone dogs are very easy to get killed. So protecting them and keeping them alive is going to be your main priority of this poor doggo. And you will probably cry when it gets killed. I'm sorry. It's a really cool start though, because it's unique in that regard that you do have an animal. We're gonna put it out here in B tier. Next, we have another unique start with the Freedom Seekers. This is basically a start where you're gonna have the most people out of every start. You're gonna start with 6 people, and these Freedom Seekers are basically going out there in the world to build their own base. So if you want to start building their own base right from the start, this is gonna be the way to go. I would say it's not the best idea to start a base right away because you're gonna get attacked also right away. The raids are gonna start spawning and you're not gonna have the skills to protect it. Because out of these guys, 5 of them have 1 in every skill, and there's 1 person that is slightly better, slightly stronger, but also has a 20k bounty, I think, with the Holy Nation. Now, all of these guys, for the start, you do have backpacks, wooden backpacks on all of them, and they are carrying, I think, like 20 building materials, 20 iron plates, some fabrics, a bunch of wheat straw, some first aid kits, all kinds of stuff, plenty of food to survive the start, right? You also have blueprints to start the wheat straw farming, and you have some basic stuff research so you can actually start building your own base. So if you really want to do that, if you really want to go for that base building thing right from the start, this would be the start to go for. That being said, it is not going to be an easy start. You're going to start in one of the random way stations, so based on where you want to build your base, it's gonna depend how easy you can get there and then how dangerous the enemies are gonna be there. Like even if you build somewhere close to hub, the enemies are still gonna be stronger than you because you start with most people at level 1. So it's gonna be hard to protect your base. You're probably gonna have to abandon it multiple times, just run away, let the enemies do whatever they wanna do, and then you come back. Still, it's a decent and unique thing. It's just not the easiest one if you don't really know what you're doing. You might get frustrated with how you can't really survive and protect your base if you don't know exactly what you're doing. So we're gonna put this one here in the middle in the B tier. Last but not least, we have nobodies. This is the 5 nobodies. You have 5 characters. They are all 1-statters. They have all stats in 1s. So nobody is a good fighter over here. They have some rags, they have some sticks. They're not very good at all. You have no money. And the thing is, you can start in one of the random way station ruins, and one of those is in Venge. And if you don't know what Venge is, basically got fire lasers from the sky that can randomly hit your characters and burn them to the bone. So while the nobodies can survive like 1 or maybe 2 of those lasers, more than that, it's gonna be a problem. And then there's also spiders there, and there's big things there. So there's a good chance, if you don't know what you're doing, that your nobodies are gonna be eaten. But it's a good start if you want to start with multiple characters. And you know, you can do that, and then, or maybe start and see whoever makes it out becomes your main character, you know, kind of like Hunger Games or something like that. You can do it that way, and you know, the last man standing is now your main character, and then you start playing the game, which, you know, could be kind of cool as well. But anyway, nobody's definitely not the easiest run for anybody starting new to the game, but it's kind of cool based on where you can start. And we're gonna still put it down here in the C tier. And there we have it. There's the start rank. Let me know what you think about it. What would you put in the S tier? What would you put in the F tier? And basically, what do you disagree with me here based on your personal preferences and how you play? I gotta say, I've played all of these starts multiple times, and I know you can make it and do great things with each of these stars. It doesn't really matter where you start. It's just some about RP and some with the ease of starting if you're a newer player. There you have it. Thank you for watching.